Hi, everyone. I'm going to show you how to get to some practice tests that are available through the LearningExpress library. You have to have a place to access this from. It requires typically a library card. I believe you can get to it through your local library if you have a library card with them, such as the Durham County Library. I'm going to access it through Durham Tech because that's you have Durham Tech accounts and you can use those to sign up for this. How do we do that? Well, first we go to durhamtech.edu, and I'm going the long way. Yes, it can. How about we do www? All right, so we go here. We scroll all the way down, doodly 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 doo, and we get to library. So we click on library. In the library, you have this one right underneath the big picture that says articles, journals, and databases. Click on that. You now have an alphabetical list of databases. This might be something you'd be interested in exploring a little bit more. But we're going to go, actually, let's see if we can get there. Yep, we can. LearningExpress Library is where we want to go. So under L, we will click on LearningExpress Library. You'll now, if you're on campus at Durham Tech, you would not have to do this sign in. I'm off campus, so I will need to put in my typical username and password. And I'll go ahead and do that now. And we shall log in. Sponsored by NC Live. And we'll just wait another minute. I don't know how to get, okay, there we go. And now I see across the top, Durham Technical Community College. I am interested in career preparation. And I am interested in preparing for nursing exams. I think you guys are too. So let's see what we've got. For preparing for nursing exams, there are nursing school entrance tests, which we want the TEAS. After you're done, you can also prepare for the NCLEX. I think that's how you guys say it. And also, if you want to prepare for your nursing assistant or nurse aide certification, they have some help here for you as well. If you change your mind about what you want to do for a living, there are other ones in here. Ooh, prepare for this. That has some good reading passages and grammar practice. I might have to go back and look at that. Let's go ahead to ATIT's preparation. And ooh, there's some games too. We can, oh, it says there's no tutorials, but there are micro lessons. I have not done these before, but I would assume those could be useful to you. What I did do a long time ago was, it was before 2020, and we stopped having access to this for a little while. Before that, I used to come in and just do all these different practice tests. There are different settings for them, so let me show you what we'll do next. This is the first time, we'll register. It'll have your institution there. You put in your first name, your last name, put in whatever email you want. That will be your username. Confirm your email, password, re-enter password. Here's the instructions for your password. I have already done this back when I was practicing to do this. So I'm going to put in my full username. Including the rest of the email address and my password. And I'm in. Let's try this one. This is a test to practice with. And there's going to be different settings. So I wanted to go over those with you. You can read all the instructions, of course, But it's letting us know that there's 33 questions. You get 37 minutes to choose to answer them. You have an option where the first two choices, you're going to have a timer and it will count down. If you do the simulation mode, the test will stop when the timer is up. So that would be just like you would have on the actual exam. Personally, I like practice because it still will do the countdown for the time. It does not give me the answers until I am done with all the problems. I will be able to know, oh, did I go over the time? That's going to be a problem. I need to speed up and get faster at answering these questions. If I didn't, that's great. And when I'm done, then I get the answers. If you don't feel like you're ready for that, but you still want to do one of the practice tests, because there's two for each subject, then feel free to do Learner. That one's going to give you the answers for each question as you answer it. Of course, you can't go back and fix any of your answers then, because you'll have gotten the answer. Whereas under practice and simulation, you could go back to previous questions. I do not think this has the flag option like you do with the actual ATI test. There is an ATI practice test for free. I have a feeling if you're watching this video, you got a link to that free practice test for ATI along with the link to this video. So I suggest that one if you want to get a good representation of the actual exam, because you get to use the same calculator, you get to use the flagging option. Here, these are just going to be some practice test problems that a student of mine said were helpful to her. What's left? Right. They have you, I guess there are some where you will mark your answers. It set it up based on the TEAS 7 that came out a couple of years ago. In the beginning, when we first started taking the TEAS, there were these extra types of problems. You had drag and drop questions, kind of like doing online homework. You had fill in the blank questions. And it says capitalization does and punctuation matter. Wow, look at that typo. I think they're trying to say capitalization and punctuation matter if the correct answer contains either. Please pay close attention to make sure you don't add any extra spaces. Wow. Okay, so that was a bad typo there. You can change any answers, navigating, you can click next at the top of the page, or you can jump to another question, and scoring your test will give you answers right away. What else do I want to do for you? So I'm going to choose practice. I'm going to, actually, you know what? Let's go back for a second. Let's try a math one. And I say that because I want to see what kind of calculator you get to have. This one has 32 questions with it. You have the same options, whether to do it all at once, to practice, or to learn. And I want to start the test in practice mode. Okay, and notice we have the timer counting down. I have the option to finish later. I can save where it keeps my progress. If I just want to completely start over, I can close without saving, or I can say, oh, wait, I do want to continue, and so hit cancel. Try to do this all in one block, but of course, if something comes up unexpectedly, then you can save it and come back to it later. I'd prefer that you try to do it all in one go around, but this one's an hour long. If you see something on here that's completely foreign to things we've gone over in class, please don't panic. They're going to, just because it's on this practice test doesn't mean it's going to be on the actual test. It might be worth looking into if you're really comfortable with all the topics that we went over together in the course. Otherwise, it might be something just, yeah, like once you're done learning the material I've given you and you want to go back and check into that some more, whatever that kind of problem is, please feel free. I just don't want you to panic that there might be some things on here that I didn't go over. What else do I want you to know? Oh, right, we wanted to see the calculator. So, is there a calculator? This is all interpretation. That's interpretation. Interpretation. Okay, probably interpretation. I'm trying to see if there's one that actually has math. 80 students out of 100. At this rate, how many? The 6,000 students. Okay, for that one, I would want to have a calculator. Do they give you a calculator? So 1 second, I'm going to pause the recording. Okay, I'm not seeing a calculator. Therefore, I think what we can do is use the one on my computer. And that's okay to do because it's, actually, that's not how I get to it. I type here, calculator. And it's still going to be good practice to use the mouse to click on the calculator. I'll be very careful. There are functions on this calculator that I'm not going to have on the actual calculator. There will not be a positive negative sign. We don't have that option on the TEAS calculator. I don't think there's x squared. The square root, this one looks different, but you will have a square root option on the test. And 1 second. Okie dokie. And so I'd probably do some math on my, set up stuff on my paper, and I would type it in and get the answer and put it here. Just please be careful not to do functions that you're not going to have on the actual TEAS calculator. And I think that's all I wanted to show you. So I am going to stop. And I'm going to close without saving because I didn't actually answer any. Had I answered some and wanted to come back later, I could and resume where I left off. As you can see, there's some other subjects here, and then there's mini lessons. As for science, science is tricky. There's very few ways to ask science questions without narrowing them down to a very specific question. I can give you geometry problems where I change all the math, the numbers that you plug in, but that's very hard to do with, say, specific diseases or disorders or specific functions of a particular organ. That's just stuff you're going to have to study as if you were not given a practice test. You'll need to know that. If you see questions on this science practice test that I didn't include in any of my videos or we didn't talk about, same idea as with the math. Go ahead and give them a try, but don't panic. I wouldn't spend a tremendous amount of time studying every single question and learning the answers, because just because something's on here does not mean it's going to be on the actual exam. It would be better to become more generally familiar with the organs, know in general what their functions are and some of their disorders, the things that I gave you in my presentations. Make sure you practice your major muscles and your major bones. I gave you some websites that you could go to practice that. This certainly couldn't hurt to do the micro lessons and get help with that, because they have some for science as well. Ooh, yeah, I would not waste time on oh my God, I want to see what this is. A periodic table game. I guess there are a few things based on the periodic table, but would I spend time on here doing it? I don't know. Oh, this is so tempting. You can stop watching now if you want to. I just have to find out what this is. Beep. I want to see the periodic table game. Speaking of games, though, if you actually want to help feed people, let me show you another site that's really great. Free Rice. And I think you can do .com. This one, for every correct answer you get, 10 grains of rice will go for the UN World Food Program. You can choose different games to play. And one of them happens to be about, let's see, do we just click on play the game? And then you get to play, let's see, maybe the topics are over here. Yeah, here we go, categories. There is one for science that has the chemical symbols, basic and the chemical symbols, the full list. And so that would be a fun way just to practice some of your chemical symbols. Other stuff is in here too, though. I personally used it for a while for teaching myself Spanish. I also used it to learn countries of the world, specifically countries in Africa. It looks like they've added on some other things. But again, every time the Kremlin is found in Moscow, Russia. So I just got 10 grains of rice to give to this World Food Program. Norwal's. What do you think? Where it's cold? I have no idea. Maybe here? I got it right. Yay. Okay, we're gonna stop this. We're gonna stop this recording because this is gonna get me in trouble. You know, Vancouver's over on Pacific. I got it right. This is nuts. Okay, seriously, stopping. Periodic table game. There it is. I don't know what the game was. There's probably a game to it. Oh, select the second element in group 11. Group 11. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Second element in group 11. Did I get it right? Ooh, and then it tells me cool things about silver. You don't need to know this stuff on the test, okay? So please don't worry about it. Okay. I'm done. I told you could stop watching. This is just me geeking out. I hope this was helpful to show you some really great practice tests for you to use. Bye.